Your emotions are not about the other people on your planet and your relationship with them, your comparison with them. Your emotions are about your deprivation of the point of view or the understanding or the sophistication of your inner being's ability to experience the subtle nuances of perfect alignment. So, when you say, I feel jealous, from now on, it would be helpful for you to say, I'm assigning the label of jealousy because it's occurring in my awareness of someone who is really lovely in this way or that way. But I understand that it is not actually about that person and their loveliness. It is actually about me and me using that person's loveliness to argue for my own limitations. All right, so now let's go to a fundamental. Esther's been obsessed with this recently. So you feel negative emotion, and you're calling it, in this case, jealousy. That's well pegged. Jealousy. You feel jealousy. But fundamental. What is any negative emotion, especially one that feels as intense as one on the very lower part of the scale? What is that negative emotion? What is it? It's an indication of your relationship with who you really are. It's all about calibration, or lack thereof of deliberate calibration. We're going to speak this more simply. You feel jealous. It feels awful. It feels like dying. Feels like smothering. Feels like pinching yourself off from life force. Being a little dramatic because we want to get your attention. It feels awful. But most of your life, you haven't been aware, as you are now, of the emotional scale and of your inner being and of calibration. And so you haven't been putting all of that together. You just knew it felt bad. You have another thing going on fundamentally as humans. Instead of using your guidance system, you have been comparing yourself to each other. And you've been making lists of that's right behavior, that's wrong behavior, that's good behavior, that's bad behavior. So the bottom line is, when you feel that jealousy, which feels awful, there's a part of the comparative you that wants to make it right, because you want to be right in this comparative world. You want to be right. So I feel jealousy, and here's why. And everything you say about the other person or about yourself is you arguing for limitations that you don't need to own. You don't need to activate within you. So that may have been a little convoluted for you to hear. We're going to say it to you in a very fundamental way. You are not supposed to feel bad, and when you do, there's a part of you that knows that something is wrong. But you've trained yourself, as you've banged around with other humans, to always want to be right. So you want to say, I'm right in my wrongness. In other words, something feels very wrong, but I'm right in this that feels very wrong, and here's why. And it holds you there. What was the first way that was stated? In one of the very first things that we talked about? It's toxic, and you want to avoid it. But you've practiced it, and it's sort of baked in. Did you hear that? Every time you feel negative emotion, you feel like you're dying a little bit. Sort of are, because you're pinching yourself off from life. But as the human you comes rearing to the surface, you want to be right. You all do. You want to be right in this comparative world. So you defend why this negative emotion is right. And that is the singular behavior that has kept more of you from the calibration to your inner being. And that, in fact, is the reason that we have to teach you to meditate and to have no thought rather than to have pure positive thought. Because you're so determined to be right in every thought, even the ones that suck and feel terrible, that you put yourself to a disadvantage and you don't let yourself utilize your own guidance system. That is as clear as we have ever heard it come out of Esther's mouth.